It's been 5 months. 5 months since the release of Sonic Frontiers, and a part of me still finds it surreal that a game like this exists. While that may sound crazy to an outsider of the Sonic community, what you have to understand is that the majority of us fans never thought a game like this would ever be a thing, considering the last decade of Sonic games we've received from Sonic Team. Quality aside, what everyone can agree on about this era of the franchise is the #1 priority from Sonic Team and Sega alike concerning the brand was to play things as safe as humanly possible. A rational decision regarding the backlash of most games from the 2000s, but with this priority came a lack of excitement and risk with newer entries. Stories made for ages 4 and below, basic and lackluster game design, rarely any new mechanics. The 2010s of Sonic wasn't without its merits, but it truly was a miserable time being a Sonic fan, especially one who adored grand, risky, more inventive older titles like the adventure games, Heroes, and Unleashed. This is a story you've surely heard a million times by now. Hell, there's a good chance you lived through this era, and I apologize for giving you no new information. But it's important to recognize the state of the Sonic series and its community pre-November of 2022 whenever Frontiers is brought into the discussion. This bold new entry restored everyone's faith in this little blue hedgehog with its fun gameplay, well-written story, new innovations, and ginormous scale. For lack of better words, this game went for it, and its ambition paid off in a vastly enjoyable experience that is now my favorite Sonic game of all time, and up there with Sly Cooper as one of my favorite games of all time. The point I'm getting at here is that Frontiers already did its job, and basically saved the franchise. But Sonic Team wasn't done in the kitchen, since the success of Frontiers prompted the team to announce that throughout 2023, we were going to get free updates for the game that would include a variety of features and new content. Seeing the roadmap they put out, the only thing I had my eyes on was Update 3, which promises us Tails, Knuckles, and Amy as playable characters along with new story content. Saying that out loud, I just got excited all over again that this is something we're going to be getting in the near future. However, in regards to Updates 1 and 2, truthfully, I wasn't expecting much. Unlike what Sonic Twitter tends to think, I'm of the notion that game developers aren't magic sorcerers who can conjure up new content with a simple spell, and game development takes a lot of time and manpower. And with so much content being released in a short time frame, I personally didn't expect these 2 updates to be that substantial. I thought of them more as appetizers before the main course, which will surely be the 3rd content drop. Well, Update 1 has released, and I have been reminded yet again that I need to stop doubting this team of immensely passionate devs. This update completely exceeded my expectations of how much it has enhanced the game with both its minor and major new changes. I don't want to stall for much longer, you guys probably have something to do and I have a video to make. So let's dive into what Sonic Team has treated us with. Starting with the smallest of the new content, there's the Jukebox. I remember seeing this advertised on the roadmap and having no idea what the hell this was supposed to be. Well, now we have an answer. As you explore the Starfall Islands, you can change the in-game music using the right button on the D-pad in a Sonic playlist of sorts. The tracks contained in the playlist are iconic songs featured throughout the past entries such as Live and Learn, Cityscape, Reach for the Stars, etc. And you can collect more tracks by finding the hidden music notes scattered across the Starfall Islands. I love this. Okay, first off, the incentive to explore more. You already have more than enough of that in the form of lost memories and challenges, but as the old saying goes, the more the merrier. And collecting each of these tracks just overall gives you more to do as you play. The best example of this is Ray Island. I'm not alone when I say that I never took the time to explore Ray Island because, well, I didn't really need to. My only concern once I got to that section of the story is climbing the 6 towers, and once that's done, there are no challenges, lost memories, guardians, or anything that gives me a reason to go back to it. Well, sure enough, the music notes added to the island was more than enough to get my ass back on there to explore, and in doing so, I visited areas and saw stunning locations I would have never seen otherwise. Frontiers is basically one huge collectathon, so yeah, you definitely won't see me complaining about even more to collect. Something I definitely wasn't expecting was the extent to which the jukebox makes playing the game even more fun. The somber, calming, atmospheric music of the Starfall Islands is great, and achieves its job in setting the mood, but running around Ares Island as Reach for the Stars blasts my headphones just elevates the experience. There's nothing like upbeat, energetic Sonic music that just makes you want to run at the speed of sound and blast through the air. My only nitpick involving the incorporation of the jukebox is the selection of some of these tracks. Sonic Team mostly did a great job with the song selection, and having the tracks you collect reflect the biome you found them in is an awesome touch. But in what world is this jukebox missing the likes of Endless Possibilities and Sonic Boom, but it includes the Colors and Forces main menu music? Come on now. Also, where's the Shadow Hedgehog love at? Give me some I Am All of Me, Never Turn Back, Almost Dead, something. Before I become a nitpicking asshole, in summary, this jukebox was an awesome inclusion. Something everyone was very enthusiastic for when announced was the inclusion of a photo mode. For those unaware, photo mode is just a feature that allows you to roam around a paused frame of the game and snap some cool stills. Or at least that's the simplified version of it. Truth is, I never tend to mess around with photo mode in any of the games I play, and I wasn't really planning on doing so with Frontiers either. But for the purpose of this video, I decided to play around with it, and yeah, no, I understand the appeal. While it's not one of the more exciting things to come out of this update for me, I had a lot of fun during my extreme run of the game trying to get some epic shots and rare poses. There are many times during a combat sequence where something cool is happening, and the first thing that goes through my mind is to quickly go into photo mode and see if I can get an awesome image out of it. From what I heard, this photo mode is unfortunately lacking a little compared to other ones such as the likes of Marvel's Spider-Man, but like I said earlier, this is my first photo mode, and from my perspective, it works just fine. Now onto the juicy stuff, Battle Rush. Oh man, when the game first released, I loved Frontiers combat and neat selection of combos and special moves, but one thing that held it back was how insanely easy the game was. Fighting Guardians was fun, but it didn't necessarily present much of a challenge, and by extension, a need to fully utilize your chaotic moveset. As you might suspect, I didn't bring up this incredibly specific issue for nothing. Battle Rush is a timed gauntlet of a variety of enemies, guardians, and bosses from select islands. There are 5 of these gauntlets in total, and if you want the reward that comes from conquering this mode, you'll need to S-rank each individual gauntlet by beating it under a specific time. Sounds simple, right? Well, the S-rank time requirement for these gauntlets are strict. Meaning if you want that S, your performance has to be perfect with little room for error. This is some of the most fun I had playing a Sonic side mode in a very long time. Because there's no room for error, you have to make the absolute most of Sonic's abilities to eliminate threats as fast as possible, and you'll inevitably find yourself forming strategies to be more efficient and better improve your time. This mode can be surprisingly punishing and surprisingly difficult, and when you have to do all 4 islands in quick succession under 30 minutes, just 1 or 2 major mistakes can set you back and potentially prevent you from getting that S rank, and this reality can definitely get your heart pumping, which is something I love to see in challenge modes like these. Something great I really appreciate this mode for doing is giving you the incentive to level up your stats in the main game. Pre-update, unless you were going for the trophy, there was literally no reason for going for max stats unless you wanted to see how fast you could clap Supreme over and over. But this mode rewards you for your effort by carrying those stats over to this mode, which can really come in handy. Hell, it might even be a requirement. Battle Rush just might be my favorite thing to come out of this update just because of how it demonstrates the full potential of this game's combat, gives a reason to upgrade your stats post-main story, and offers an exhilarating challenge. Another newly introduced mode is the Cyberspace Challenge. Like Battle Rush, there's groups of cyberspace stages that you're tasked with completing in quick succession for specified ranks. Basically, this game's equivalent of Time Attack, which is something I think every Sonic game needs, and I'm glad Frontiers has something that'll test your speed. It's no secret I thought the cyberspace levels were the weakest part of the game due to how off Sonic feels to control, but that shows how good the rest of the game is because I don't dislike cyberspace as stated in my initial review of this game. I think the level design to a lot of these stages are fantastic, even though they're just based on levels from previous games, and there's still plenty of fun to play. Especially for speedrunners since there's a lot of cool speed strats you can pull off in these stages if you're skilled enough. Cyberspace Challenge puts said skill to the test, and even though the S-rank requirement isn't as strict or difficult as Battle Rush, you will still be punished if you make too many mistakes, so you better have a good idea of how these stages play and race against the clock. If anything, this mode made me appreciate cyberspace more because of the added challenge of an overall timer, which made me pay attention to all the neat little shortcuts and strats that are to completing these levels. What's really cool is that if you get all of the S-ranks in this mode, you'll finally be able to use the power boost from the open zone inside of cyberspace, and let me tell you, it sure does feel nice going fast in a Sonic game. Seriously, the power boost makes controlling Sonic in cyberspace leagues better, since the added speed can actually kick off some adrenaline. But Sly, you may ask, why did you skip over the reward you get for getting all the S-ranks in Battle Rush? Well, my dear, very much real viewer who totally asked that question, I want to save what is, in my opinion, the biggest inclusion in this update for last. Extreme Mode. Like I mentioned when talking about Battle Rush, a slight problem with this game was just how piss easy it was, even if it was loads of fun. Well, Sega heard our bitching and answered our prayers with Extreme Mode. An added difficulty that makes it hard for Sonic to level up, increases the health of enemies, raises the S-rank requirements, and makes Sonic one hit, no questions asked. Fun! In all seriousness, this is exactly what I wanted from a hard mode, and I was not disappointed. Now, I could sit here and tell you how Extreme Mode was unbearably difficult and has left me with mental scars that decades of therapy won't heal, but honestly, it wasn't too bad. While I died a good number of times, most of the game went by pretty smooth. But keep in mind that this was like my 4th complete playthrough of the game, so I knew each of the Guardians' attack patterns and practically every cyberspace level's layout. This wasn't excruciating, but it didn't have to be because it was still challenging. Being one hit means you have to be on your A game at all times, and that infinite parry we all complain about will become your best friend real quick. Some of the S-rank requirements were, pardon my French, fucking insane. Why is that a saying? Do French people swear a lot? I had to give up on some of these S-ranks because they were near impossible, making it much trickier to obtain the necessary vault keys I needed to progress. A lot of times, I would pick a fight with a Guardian only for my attacks to tickle it, forcing me to disengage and focus on increasing my stats. And the epic boss fights this time around actually had some difficulty, which was just awesome to see. Never in my life did I think Giganto's back lasers would cause me so much trouble, but when every attack kills you instantly, oh they will. Playing Extreme Mode basically gave me the opportunity to experience Frontiers if it was balanced for an older demographic, and what can I say, I had a lot of fun with it. The only con is that because this game obviously wasn't designed with one hit in mind, there will be a lot of cheap deaths during your run, so just brace yourself. That's basically all of my thoughts on Update 1 of Sonic Frontiers, and man, has Sonic Team done a fantastic job. Frontiers was already my favorite Sonic game, but with these updates, this is quickly becoming much more than that in my eyes. It's becoming the definitive Sonic experience. Think about it, after Update 3, this game would be the longest in the series, have the biggest story in terms of scale, have the most amount of content and replayability out of any other Sonic experience, and would definitely be up there in terms of overall quality. The DLC is doing its job in enhancing what was already an amazing experience. I've seen some people claim that the DLC is just leftover concepts that were supposed to be in the base game, and I just do not think this is the case. None of this would be coming out if Frontiers wasn't a massive success, and with modes like Extreme Difficulty and Battle Rush, all of it feels like a response to our feedback as opposed to repurposed scrap content. I know most Sonic fans have a cynical outlook on everything, but come on guys, not everything Sonic Team does has to have some sort of negative motivator or reasoning attached. I'm really looking forward to Update 2 and what we can expect from that. We're definitely going to be getting some sort of Sonic birthday celebration which sounds cool, as well as new Coco, whatever that means. But what I really have my eyes peeled for is the new open zone challenges and improved physics Kishimoto has been hyping up on Twitter. June 23rd can't come soon enough guys. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Sorry I was late to the party, but with midterms, the release of this update, the Sonic Omens review, news of Origins Plus, and the launch of Resident Evil 4 Remake, I've had my hands a little full. Please like, subscribe, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.